I need you guys to strap up today because we're going to talk about a fragrance from the house of Nasomatto, and it's probably within the top 2 most mentioned fragrances from this house. So strap up. This one's going to be a very mature scent. So if you're interested, grab your popcorn. Let's go for that ride.
Okay, doing it for two. I watch that head move side to side as I let the sin into the room. You are on time, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right. Welcome to the Scent Bubble. I'm your host for the night. From the house of Nasomatto, let's not waste any time. This is Pardon. And what you guys need to know about Pardon is it is a chocolate, oudy, spicy fragrance from what I'm told. I'm excited to get into it because at the tender age of 36, I need mature scents. Even if it's fresh, I am a old soul. So if I'm 36, in my mind, I'm going on 46, to be quite honest with you. And anybody that knows me knows that I have one of the youngest sounding voices out there. Even musically, like with my own music that I make, people think I'm like in my 20s and then I'm 36. But I do a lot of stuff out in the world with the community and with the younger kids and stuff like that. So I think it just keeps me youthful. But mentally, any older people that know me know that I'm an old soul. You just get that right away when you meet me. So I like finding a scent that feels mature and classy and complex, yet is still understandable and super palatable. So let's see what we're diving into. I'm really interested in chocolate ouds, and when I say chocolate, I mean cacao, I mean patchouli, vanilla sometimes, spices. So I do have some hitters in my collection already. So really my evaluation of Pardon today is to see if it beats those or if it just meets them. Because ultimately for you, it's like if you don't have this fragrance and you don't have any cacao or patchouli or kind of like sexy, chocolatey, seductive fragrances, would this be a valid option for you? I know their price point sits somewhere between $100 and $200. So if the fragrance is good, it will absolutely be considerable to you guys. And then if it's unique enough, maybe to me. I've already sprayed my hand as well as the test strip. And let's engage with our higher selves, as Aaron would say. Okay, very chocolatey. The oud is tucked. It's at the safety point. Any more than this, and it would be real like oud silk mood or oud from MFK. It almost goes funk, not smelly funk, but you know, that spritz of funk that you smell from oud silk mood and oud from MFK. It almost goes there. It's got enough of that slight funk, slight fresh new leather briefcase, slight fresh suede jacket type vibe. But the chocolate is constantly the heavier thing. So that they walked a fine line here. And I think oud is very masculine. Oud is very challenging. And oud is very complex in the sense that most ouds are not real in perfumery. They're kind of phantom noted. They're synthetically created, or just agarwood from the tree is used. Not a lot of people are working with real oud for many reasons. And so because of that, the oud in people's fragrances gets rendered so many different ways. This one, the chocolate is really doing most of the heavy lifting for the oud. And we'll see if that's due to cacao or patchouli. This smells chocolatey. It smells like a chocolatey version of oud silk mood from MFK with a little bit of spice in the background, maybe some cinnamon. Let's switch screens here and kind of see what we're dealing with. So launched in 2011. Okay, so there's dark chocolate. Makes total sense. I'm surprised they didn't put patchouli in here, but after smelling the spices and the oud and the chocolate, I wonder if they just withheld that because it would have really made it overly earthy. And I think they tried to take a classy, complex style of perfumery that would traditionally be in the kind of cigar lounge, leather briefcase type of bag. And they wanted to counterbalance it with as much freshness as possible. So that's the magnolia, that's the flowers, that's the cinnamon, that's the sandalwood. But still proportionately, those notes are only 40% of the fragrance, maybe even 30. This blend seems very 70-30 or 60-40 in favor of the dark chocolate oud and tonka bean. Not much cinnamon in here. It's a perfect balance for maturity. I feel like Oud Silk Mood is more my speed than Oud Satin Mood for two reasons. One, I think Oud Satin Mood is, and I have Oud Satin Mood, and I have Oud Satin from Ministry of Oud, which is literally dead ringer to me. I think for me, the biggest problem with Oud Satin Mood, and it's only a problem to me and maybe a select few, is that you have two conflictions with it. One, that Rose and Oud fight between wanting to be an old lady and wanting to be sexy. So that's the first problem. And so balance is critical with Rose Ouds. I have a ton of Rose Oud fragrances. Shout out to Oud Satin Mood. Shout out to Taifa Oud. Shout out to Alexandria. Shout out to Atomic Rose. Shout out to Portrait of a Lady. Shout outs to Oud Silk Mood. Shout outs to, I have a ton of Rose Ouds, and the highest score I've ever given any of them is a 9. Because I always feel like at the end of the day, even though I like scents more than others, none has really given me the wow factor in terms of the balance. Now, this isn't a Rose Oud fragrance, but I'm just talking about kind of the, I know why I brought it up, because I was saying I lean towards Oud Silk Mood, which is a Rose Oud, over Oud Satin Mood, which is a heavier Rose Oud. Matter of fact, let me make sure I'm not stumbling over my words here. Fragrantica Oud Silk Mood, because I'm pretty sure Oud Silk Mood still has rose in it, despite Oud Satin Mood being even more rosier. Yeah, so it does. Okay, so I prefer the masculine maturity that Oud pushes and injects into the Rose Oud DNA. Whereas I feel like with Oud Satin Mood, number one, it fights with kind of the ladylikenesss of the Rose Oud combo. It goes very jammy, creamy, silky. It is smooth, and it is intoxicating, but I don't know if it's in a masculine type of intoxication. And then, so number two with it is I feel like fragrances struggle for balance and when it comes to sweetness. And so my comfort level of sweetness out of 10 is like 6 is the furthest I'll go in terms of intensity of sweetness. And when a fragrance gets in the 6 out of 10 power of sweetness as a fragrance, I'm already cautious. Like, out of 100 fragrance that are 6 out of 10 levels sweet, I will only like 20 or 30%. So truthfully, I like a 5 out of 10 and down level of sweetness. But there are some exceptions I'll go through with it on, like Dior Homme Intense, Ombre Dominicano, Ombre Premier, Valentino Uomo, Gentleman Reserve Privé, stuff like that, which those are overly sweet, but I feel like they are balanced to at least a 6. So my safe spot is 5 and down. I like fragrances to lean more in maturity and seriousness and have the sweet seductive side tucked. If I'm on a date night or a romantic night, that's when I want to ramp it up. But generally speaking with sweetness, I like it to be 5 and down as far as other settings outside of the romance category. That's why I like Oud Silk Mood. It's a very mature masculine scent, which they'll probably call it unisex, but to me it's totally masculine. It's one of the most masculine Rose Ouds out there. And most people stop at the door with the Oud. But I appreciate Oud Silk Mood way more down the road as I go through scents to appreciate the masculinity that it's preserved for me, in my opinion. Now, Scent Bubble, why did you talk about all that? We're already at 10 minutes in. Because a fragrance like this has the same exact texture and scent profile that Oud gives Oud Silk Mood. So I'm trying to give you guys a scent profile. This smells like a more chocolatey Oud Silk Mood. You know, you smell dark chocolate. It's like somebody took the raw material dark chocolate and just mixed it with Oud Silk Mood. So it's a very mature scent still, and it's more about the oud than it is the chocolate, but the chocolate is very much there and pronounced. And so I appreciate this chocolatey style, which is normally achieved by cacao, chocolate, and or patchouli, and vanilla, and tonka bean. I appreciate this because it is very masculine. This is a great fragrance. I think 30 and up is the sweet spot. Ambitious 25-year-old and up. It has a serious but sweet, sexy appeal to the serious, mature man. This guy pays all the bills. He's more than just getting by. He's well off. He's charming. He's palated. He is his own aura. Sprays on this, I believe it's nuclear. Like, I think you need 2 to 4 sprays max. If you're outdoors, go up to 4, 2 in the front, 2 in the back. I think if you just want it to just give you some masculinity and just kind of go with you and not be too loud, I think 2 sprays, you are straight. It is an extrait. It is a 30 ml, the Nasomatto fragrances. But for that 30 ml, you are typically getting a very high level of extrait performance in a fragrance. This isn't a boy fragrance, guys. I mean, trust me, like, you better be successful if you're wearing this fragrance or on your way to being successful. Occasions, date night, anything with romance, nightlife, lounge stuff, theater stuff, serious events, business, corporate, CEO vibes. It could be an upscale casual, but it's not really like it's your day off work and you're running errands. It's more like you just got off work and have to run errands type of vibe in terms of the upscale casual. I really like it. Unfortunately for me, where I'm at in my journey in my collection right now, I have a fragrance this completely reminds me of, which is Diptyque's, let me grab it. I have this fragrance right here from Diptyque that I haven't reviewed on the channel yet, called Tempo. This is Tempo EDP from Diptyque. And this is so almost 1-to-1 with Pardon. I feel like Pardon stays out in the air longer than Tempo, just from the weight of the fragrance. But they're very close. Diptyque fragrances typically go to a skin scent quicker and have a smaller projection, which I actually am slowly like appreciating, like just having a really good skin scented fragrance that can last. I'm starting to have a new appreciation for stuff like that. But yeah, it smells exactly like Pardon. Pardon just smells a little bit chocolatier and a little bit closer to Oud Silk Mood. The oud is ramped up. I don't think there's any oud in Tempo. Tempo utilizes more patchouli. So yeah, in my journey, it would be redundant to get it if you have Diptyque's Tempo. If you have Prada Black or Bulgari Man in Black or Tom Ford Black Orchid or Zara Man, I feel like this is redundant, because all of those kind of fit that same vibe and occasion and utilize a lot of the same notes. But if you don't have any of those, all you need is this. As a fragrance, I give it a 9. I'm very curious if this beats out Javoy Psychedelic, because it also smells like that. The main difference is take out, there's got to be patchouli in this. Even though it doesn't say it on the note screen, there's got to be patchouli, 100%. This is Javois Psychedelic, where the oud is replaced with patchouli. So it's a more earthy scent, but it has the cacao and it has the patchouli, which feels like the oud somewhat in this case. The magnolia and flowers up top really just amplify the same way bergamot does, just kind of amplify the heart and base notes. That leaves the fragrance pretty quickly. You could pull this off at a funeral for sure. Yeah. So I'm calling it circumstantially upscale casual, but mostly semi-formal and up. But it's very signature. It's very signature. It's oddly romantic. And yeah, Psychedelic is very close to this, and Oud Silk Mood is very close to this. So it would be redundant if you have any of those styles. Leans colder weather. Sorry, guys. I know I've been talking a lot. I'm very fascinated by this fragrance because this is my speed. That sexy patchouli chocolate is something that once you smell it done right, you're addicted to it. You got to have something like it in your collection. And in my case, I have several scents that remind me of it. You'll make an excuse for any season, any reason, as long as it's nighttime, date night, and it's not like super hot, but it is a cold weather fragrance. I gave you guys the occasions, but I think it's fall, winter, or nighttime. Sprays on this start at 2. If you're feeling froggy and you're going to be outside and aerating a lot or just competing with a lot of different people, you might have to go up to 4. Do not go over 4 sprays with this. It's nuclear. It has sillage galore, and you won't have any problems with performance with this fragrance. Cheap alternatives, truthfully, I don't think there are any. I mean, I think the lowest you can go in this category is you can shop at discounters and get the Bulgari Man in Black for around, I think I got my 100 ml tester for $70. So $100 or less, you can get into Bulgari, but I don't even think you need to, because this fragrance, let's see what it's listed for. So Max Aroma has it for 124. I guess it retails for around the $185, $200 price point, but you can get this fragrance as low as $120. Totally worth the money. Again, I'm at a 9 with it. I think it's an incredible fragrance, highly signature, and not a lot of fragrances will really touch this outside of the ones that I mentioned to you. So you got to have something like this in your collection. But again, if you have this, you don't really need any of the other fragrances I mentioned, with the exception of maybe Black Orchid, and a lot of men are 50-50 on Black Orchid, but this was just a really good fragrance that I'm giving a 9 out of 10. Phenomenal fragrance. Let me know in the comments if you guys have tried this. Nasomatto has really impressed me, but I think the overarching theme with Nasomatto is that they are adult scents, 30 and up, maybe 25 and up, but absolutely 30 and up type of age bracket for men. And they've got an homage level of challenge to them, but they're perfectly blended. So yeah, hopefully that gave you guys enough idea. I think out of this and Baranda, which I will give my review on later, Baranda, I'm not going to tell you guys what I rated Baranda, but they're of the same caliber. But anyways, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. I drop episodes every single day, so if you're into fragrance content, I cover everything. I leave no stone unturned. Pardon, I think for me, what kept it away from a 10 is just, I don't know. I feel like within its category, I don't want to say it's not exciting. It's not, outside of the chocolate oud experience, there's not a lot of depth of layering. It's a more linear, simplistic scent with really high quality stuff. So there's different facets to the fragrance, but only because of the raw materials themselves, not because there's actual depth built into the fragrance. That would just give me the type of wow factor to just say 10 out of 10. Oh my gosh. But I'm sure many people have given this a 10 out of 10 fragrance, and I think this one sells the most outside of Baranda. So to me, a 9 and a 10 are virtually the same. Tomato. But anyways, this was Pardon. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or if you've put your nose to this. Definitely worth the money. At the $130 price point or $120, money well spent. Get something like this and get your nose on it before you try it, guys. All right, stay blessed. Take care.